Hello, welcome to video tutorial number 21 from the Game Audio tutorial. This video is relevant to chapter 4, which is all about music for games, and particularly looking at the decay issue that we talk about on page 210. So you can think about this as being like exercise 408. So we've built a racetrack here, and you can just pull your music into this game. So you can have a piece of music playing for lap 1, a piece of music playing for lap 2, lap 3, and when you're in the lead, bring in another layer of music that's going to play over the top of those, and then there's some pickups around the track that will give you a boost. So we have a different piece of music for the boost as well. So let's just play it. We've got lap 1 music playing. My layer when I'm in the lead. Okay, and then our boost music. Now you may have noticed at the end of that boost music, or just in the normal loop of lap 1, that it sounds a bit clunky musically. Every time it loops round, the loop point is really obvious, particularly because of that ride symbol. Just kind of getting cut off, and that's because of our export from the music sequencer. So if we go and have a look at the track here, this is the music for lap 1. So in your sequencer it will sound fine, because as you can hear, it's MIDI and sample based, and the ride symbol is allowed to decay fully and naturally. But if we select those two bars as we'd expect and then go to export them to bring them into UDK, press the right button this time. Okay, what we get is this. We've lost the decay. So what we actually need to do in this system is select an additional bar so that we can actually have the decay of that instrument. And you'll find that you need to do this most of the time for your music to sound natural. So now what we've got is a piece of music this long. Okay, what in effect is happening in the game is that we've got a system that goes and re-triggers the sample every 2 bars, every 2 measures, and so what you get is the decay is still playing on from the previous part, and it ends up being layered back into the beginning of the next loop point. So if we just select that. We get a much more natural effect. So that's lap 1 music, and here we got lap 2. Let's just turn that off. Again, I'd export that like that. So we get, you can hear that decay still ringing on. So here, when I've got that audio file and I've brought it into a package in UDK, you can hear the difference. So here's the sound cue when I've just exported 2 bars. Cuts off very abruptly. Now when I've exported 3 bars, much more natural decay, and that decay will be still playing when we go back and re-trigger that loop. So here's our Kismet system, and you can just drop in your sound cues to replace the ones here. So you can see we've got lap 1, we add our sound cue there, lap 2, lap 3. I'm just going to go and open another version of the level where I've replaced all the sound cues now with their proper versions, so the slightly longer exports, so we get that more natural decay. So here's our layer over the top when you're in first place, and we've got that. We've got that slight decay of the triangle, which will make it sound a nicer, smoother loop as it goes round. Here's our system. This switch is basically controlling which lap is playing at any one time, and we've got a delay here that is theoretically 2 bars or 2 measures long, and that's coming through this and playing the sound. So it plays the sound every 2 bars, and actually, although this sound is longer than 2 bars, so we're going to have its decay still playing when the new version comes in and plays over the top, which will get us a nice smooth loop. One thing to bear in mind, some people may find this hugely irritating. We prefer to think of it as a charming idiosyncrasy of UDK, is that this time here you'd imagine would be exactly what you'd calculate the length of 2 bars at 140 BPM should be, because that's what our sequencer is working in. There you go. Now when you bring that into UDK and you add in the right time there for that, it's not going to work. It's slightly out of time. So you always need to fiddle about a little bit with this timing to get it smooth. So just bear that in mind. Do your calculation. How long should my loop be for exactly 2 bars, or however many bars your piece is, because you can just adjust this system. But this timing's not going to be quite right. You're going to have to fiddle around with it a little bit. So there's our laps, and there's our first place layer we bring in over the top. Our boost system is in here, so we've got a little bit of a chord pickup that just plays when you grab it. That's actually designed to just play on a beat, so it won't happen instantaneously. It'll happen on the next available beat to keep it all working musically. And then all the transitions from lap or into boost are happening at the 2-bar measure point. So again, you're not just cutting off the music that's currently playing, you're making the transition hopefully a bit more musically. And this is where you drop in your boost cue. Okay, so if you get the export right from your sequencer and you include the end bits, the extra decays, you import your sounds into UDK, create a sound cue for them, very simple sound cue that let's just have a look. It's just simply your WAV there, no looping because we're actually doing the looping in our Kismet system itself. Then you can build your own version of the racer with your own music and get used to that whole idea of decay and just play around with it, see what you can do. So I'm just going to play through this level and you can hear how it sounds. moved up to lap 2, and on the transition point, on that 2 measure line, we've introduced the music to lap 2. It's just got that extra bass line in it. And there you have it. So there is an example. You can drop in your own music, explore the idea of music for games, and also in particular the issue with decay.